How's it going, everyone? This is Dan Kelly here with another Codex review for the Codex Station. Today, I'll be reviewing the maxi series Punisher from Marvel Comics. It was 12 issues long, published between March 2022 and May 2023. It was written by Jason Aaron, with art by Jesus Saez and Paul Ezeketa. Apologies if I mispronounce. Colored by Dave Stewart and Matt Hollingsworth, with letters by VC's Corey Pettit. Now, in this book, the Punisher does something completely different than what he has done in the past. He becomes the leader of the Hand, which is in Marvel Comics, a dangerous clan of assassin ninjas. They refer to him as their High Slayer. They look at him as, the creature that they worship as being their god is called the Beast, and they look at him as the emissary of the Beast, essentially. And in exchange for him becoming the leader of them, they resurrect his wife and promise to resurrect his children for him as well. They see him as I said, they call him the Fist of the Beast. They see him as their, kind of their Messiah. He sees them as just another weapon to use in his war against crime, just now on a more global scale than he previously had, with more weapons at his disposal. There were a few spin-off one-shots that tie into this, but you don't really need to read them to get the whole story. If you just read the 12 issues of this series, you'll get everything you need to for the story. You can read those other ones if you want, but again, they're not needed to get the complete picture of this. So the fight scenes in it they're great. It's got some really violent Punisher-like fight scenes that you would want to see. Some other Marvel characters that play big parts in this is Daredevil, because at the same time this is going on in Daredevil's book, he is becoming the leader of a organization to rival the Hand and take them down. So there is some crossover with that. The Marvel version of Ares, the God of War, is a big character early in this book. And there's some good interactions with Ares and with Daredevil, and then some other Marvel characters later on at the end of the series. And especially with Ares, because Ares looks at Frank taking over the Hand and, taking over as the Fist of the Beast as a betrayal to him, because, he refers to the Punisher and he tells him, that he was always his greatest representative in the world, and it brings them into conflict. So it's some pretty cool battles between them. I like how the art in it, they use the two different artists for present day and for flashbacks. So Jesus Saez handles the main part of the art, where it is the present day story, and Paul Ezeketa, again, apologies if I mispronounce it, handles the flashback scenes, showing Frank when he had come home from the war and was first trying to reacclimate to the world and to his family, and not being a soldier, but now having to live a normal life. And even before that, showing some of his childhood as well. So those are some of the good things about the series. As far as the cons, I myself am a big Punisher fan, and I didn't like how this changed a lot of things with the character. I didn't like them bringing the supernatural aspects into it, of the stuff with the Hand, this mythical beast creature, and the Punisher ending up getting powers himself, and them resurrecting his wife, and some of the things they did with that. I just think for this character, that's not really how this character works best. It was one thing when they gave him the War Machine armor, because I like that for the character, because it's just another weapon for him to fight. Essentially, it's just a bigger gun. But as far as giving him powers and putting him in this, like I said, this whole supernatural thing, it seems to go against the core of what the character is. I also don't like some of the retconning they did to his past, where it was still essentially the same thing. He grew up, he went off to war, he had the wife, he had the kids, they died, the mob, all that, but they kind of retconned that the hand was potentially, following him or following him his whole life, and potentially had something to do, or could have had something to do with his family dying. And just the way that he was towards his wife and his kids when he got back from the war, and all that he wasn't really someone that was that caring towards them, which is something completely contradictory to how he's always been portrayed with his past with that. So I didn't like some of the stuff with that. I really didn't like where they left off the character at the end of the series. I know a lot of people were complaining about how they changed his logo for real world political reasons, but how they changed his logo in the comic. And in the story, it makes sense because, he kind of melded his skull logo with the logo of the hand because he was taking over as their leader. So it made sense in the story. So that didn't bother me. But the way that they left the character at the end of the story, and everything he went through, where he still had that logo, I didn't think that I didn't like that at all, because after everything he goes through in the story, he wouldn't still be wearing that logo. They should have either had him go back to his original one, or created some other kind of spin on doing that. But to have him wearing that same hand skull logo with the way he was left at the end just really didn't make any sense at all. And overall, again, like I said, I didn't like the supernatural aspects of this story. So overall, I'll rate it a 6.5 out of 10. Like I said, the artwork is pretty good, and there are some good battles in it, but I just don't feel like this is the Punisher. The Punisher to me is best the way that Garth Ennis wrote him predominantly, where he is a street level character, and yeah, he may go off and do other things in other countries, but he's not a superhero. He doesn't have powers. He's a street level character that fights street level bad guys and sometimes military bad guys, but it doesn't get into all these other aspects. So I've been Dan Kelly. You can find me on Instagram at Dan Kelly Art. Just search hashtag Dan Kelly Art and go give me a follow and give me some likes and let me know what you think of my art that I post on there. And make sure you check us out online at thecodexstation.com, and you'll be able to find links to all of our different social media platforms on there, and be able to see bios on all of the different contributors to the Codex Station. And until next time, I'll catch you by the spinner rack.